Wedding photographers, what was your they're not gonna last long moment?
I've photographed a few weddings, but this comes from a time my friend bought his girlfriend a ring for Christmas. It was obviously an engagement ring, but she claimed it was just a Christmas gift. My friend agreed. We all knew he was lying. A year later, they become engaged. She insists on a location wedding. She wants to fly off and get married on a tropical island. My friend profusely apologizes to me, tells me he wanted me as a best man, but she wants her best friend's husband as the best man. I don't go to the wedding. The bachelor party took place after their honeymoon. We were all drinking and having a good time. He tells me that the ring from Christmas was his first engagement ring to her, but it wasn't good enough. She was just a showy girl and needed a bigger rock. He spent twice as much on the second ring. It's been 3 years since that bachelor party. They have been divorced for a year. She's now pregnant by a man as old as her father. Story 2, I did a wedding for an acquaintance and her husband. Day goes great. I'm really happy with almost everything I took. Everyone was feeling it and having fun. But, and this is one of the reasons I quit photography, the bride sees some of the photos I had sent her and immediately is calling me. I need you to do the editing magic and make me look skinny. John was saying I was going to look too fat in my dress and wanted me to lose weight, but I knew you could just edit it, so haha, I didn't. So I have to explain, this is like 2010. I can only Photoshop so much, i.e., I can make you look a tad slimmer in certain photos without making it noticeable. But I can't do it to all of them, and if I was to, the editing would be noticeable, and I will have to charge you a lot of money to edit you in all the photos. She tried to convince me to edit hundreds of photos for a couple $100, and I have other jobs going and had given them a great deal already, so explained I couldn't. So she insists I do at least some of her main pics. I tell her when people see the rest of the pics they will see the difference. She didn't care, and insisted more. So I do. And a couple weeks later, when I thought it was all done, and history calls me and leaves me a voicemail of how I ruined her wedding. Her new husband is upset at how she looks in the pics and keeps making remarks about her weight. So didn't seem like they were in a great place from the get-go. Story 3. This was 15 years ago or so. I left wedding photography a few months later. The reception was at their home. They didn't want photos at the ceremony, and didn't want wedding party family photos between the ceremony and reception, triggering the first raise of the eyebrow on my end. At the reception, the groom didn't want his brother, the best man, in the photos. Other eyebrow goes up. The mothers of both the bride and groom both scolded me to let them be and told me to eat instead of take photos. The groom and the best man got unholy drunk and had a weird byplay of brother, making way too many toasts, and the groom making grossly inappropriate speeches of what he's going to do to the bride on the honeymoon. As the newlyweds were making their grand departure, the bride tosses the bouquet. Everyone cheers. The groom shouts, "I knocked the bitch up so hard she's got 2 babies in her coochie." Guests react in various ways of shock and happiness about the pregnancy test, but the best man lunges at the groom, shouting and swearing. Family holds the best man back as the couple runs out to a car. The groom flipped off the spectators and pulled out of the driveway. 2 houses down, the car stops. The groom gets out and pukes on a neighbor's lawn. The bride gets in the driver's seat and takes off, leaving her husband yerking into a flower bed, and the best man ran down the street trying to flag down the car. Divorced 4 months later. Story 4. My mother was a wedding photographer till I was about 18-19, and I helped out on many of them. The one that stands out the most was when we were at a campsite where both the wedding and reception were being held. About halfway through the reception, I hear the groom start laughing maniacally. I peeked over his way and could see 2 groomsmen hauling the thrashing and screaming bride towards the lake. They threw her into the freezing cold water, with her veil and dress still on. When she got out of the water, I genuinely thought she might shoot somebody. Saying she looked like a drowned rat would have been an insult to rats. Her hair and makeup and probably the dress were ruined beyond repair. The fact that the groom laughed and didn't do anything stuck with me as being a dog shit move even as a teen. Apparently she thought so too, because they didn't even make it 6 months. Story 5. Oh man, I was a wedding photographer for about 5 years. I get being awkward on camera and not wanting to do any public PDA. I'm very awkward myself. But when prompting couples for fun poses like whispering obscenities in each other's ear for a laughing shot, nuzzling close together, etc., most couples eventually let their guard down and enjoyed holding each other. It was so sweet. A few times, though, I had couples that visibly didn't want to be near each other at all. Once the shot was done, they went back to standing a foot apart. They would complain about each other and make fun of each other in front of me. It always left me with a bad feeling in my gut, and most of the time the marriage didn't last long